answer your
in
question,
general.
Shaylee,
Nobody in
it
particular.
definitely smells like weed inside that house because when we were in Vegas, I set Andy up in the window and showed him, look, this window opens up. We can smoke weed right here and blow it out the window. And Andy's like, oh, fuck yeah, right on. And then proceeded to hit it in the window and then walk back into the room to exhale.
Yeah. The El Cortez.
Yes,
I was afraid that we were going to get dinged on that one.
Oh, not only
because
that,
it was set up so perfectly, and yet
he also cleaned his pipe while taking the final shower.
And it
in the shower,
resin.
So there was just resin all over the bottom of the tub. I was like, Andy, we made it all the way to the last fucking minute, dude.
I still have some of that in my pubic hair.
I'm surprised you didn't smoke it while you're in Florida. Fuck it, I'll trim this out and smoke it.
Yeah, I almost don't care anymore.
Hey, what's up, man?
what happened?
How are the cancer treatments going?
Welcome to Indoors with Andy.
Yeah, I've had it.
Whoa!
Yeah.
I thought it was DJ something. What was it? DJ Grandmaster something.
Yeah, we keep the heat low, so I gotta have some head protection here.
What happened there, Andy?
About moving in?
No, about your microphone and your headphones.
Why your underpants on your head?
We've got a lot of issues to get to right off the bat.
Oh.
seems
Right
like.
off the bat.
I didn't even
Doing
think
it wrong.
these were issues here. It's just my indoor look. Yeah, I can take the cold out there, but it's foggy and wet and shit, so fuck that.
Andy, this is a hat. This is what we call a hat.
Well, look at there's no leg holes in these.
Well, yeah, you cut them out.
Somebody sewed him up.
We're not saying you're not ingenious with your sewing skills.
Riley.
All right. Well, hi, fellas.
Hi, guys.
Your hair looks ridiculous, Andy. Put your underwear back on your head.
Put your underwear back on your head. Now you see what? I totally understand.
I put
why
it
you
on
did
the-
that.
I tried
totally
it on the-
understand.
The dog doesn't like the hat either. There you go.
Yeah, that's it.
Whose house are you in, Andy?
This is my fucking house for
What?
now. This is my place for now. Yeah, I'm just inside.
They're all for now.
Yeah. I'm temporarily here at my house.
Well,
I think we're all just temporarily here.
Yep.
So
Well,
I already
not
had an
that-
issue myself because I woke up this morning and was preparing my podcast, Bloody Mary, and found out that we drank all the vodka in the house.
ooh,
So Mitchell suggested a Bloody Maria.
oh
So
yeah.
I'm having a tequila, and yeah, I'm not sure about it. Maria kicks a little harder than Mary does.
Yeah.
Ooh, Maria.
Maria's more of an end of the evening gal, not a first thing in the
Oh.
morning gal.
No, I think
Yeah.
Erickson's got it right. Maria is when there's nothing else. She's the last girl in the bar.
I tried a Bloody Maria not long ago because I'd never heard of it, and I had all the ingredients, and I was like, oh, I'm going to try that. And I dumped it out and made a Bloody Mary.
Yeah, now you know why you've never heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, not in a glowing way. I too had an issue with alcohol this morning. I came into the fun house and to into the corner there. Or wait, where is it? Yeah, you guys know where we all make our coffee over,
Yep.
over
yeah.
here. Well, yeah. Lately Doug's been out of town, so everyone who's been here drank all of the Baileys. So there's no Bailey's for a Bailey's coffee. And I go, well, now I prepped it with whiskey. I'm not an animal. I'm not gonna just do whiskey and coffee. I'm not a longshoreman. So I go to the bar to look for something, and I see, Kahlua. And I was gonna just put the Kahlua in with the whiskey. And then I read Kahlua. I don't know. Do you know what liquor is in Kahlua?
None.
Kahlua.
Rum. I was going to mix rum and whiskey with whatever for the flavor is an espresso or something. So then I look on the back of the thing and it says has a suggested drinks because no one knows what the fuck to do with Kahlua if the Bailey's is gone. And I mixed 1 part soda with vodka. We got those in spades here, vodka and soda. And then with the Kahlua, and it's called an eraser.
I'll bet.
Also does not sound like a first thing of the day drink. But,
No. And I remember back when I was in the band days, almost 30 years now, we used to drink these. Look at that. Looks like a Coca-Cola. We used to drink these, but they didn't care what they called them. They called them mind erasers. We would fucking pound those things. And now because it's drink responsibly, they take out the mind part and just put eraser. So I'm drinking responsibly until I drink this, and then it'll be irresponsibly. I'll be coupling up with Maria.
I was watching a thing on what do they call that? CTE.
Yeah,
that's the ultimate mind eraser is high school and college football.
Playing middle linebacker.
Play that many years, you just do enough head-on heads, and that's a mind eraser.
Maybe NFL copyrighted mind eraser, so they can get it out of the lexicon.
I think maybe more lifetime drunks need to donate their brains to the same study. See if it's even similar.
It's a little too on the nose to call it a mind eraser if you, at the end of it, you blow your fucking actual brains out of your head.
I think Sean Rouse
on the nose.
I think Sean Rouse got CTE from drinking. He would actually get head injuries.
Yeah. He hit the bar a few times, so he certainly could have been a candidate. Yeah. He's a junior Seau of drinking.
No.
Too soon.
Does this stop anyone? Will this stop anyone coming into the compound?
I would look around for the camera and act accordingly. Yeah, I mean, I'm always aware of cameras, and if you something like that, if you thought it was
because you're always about to commit a crime.
Yeah, so that's why you. But why else would you care if there's a camera? Like,
thanks for the heads up. Then now I know there's cameras.
Right. Yeah. If you know there's a camera, then you have to have something on top of what you're stealing. It doesn't mean you can't steal. It just means put a USA Today over the top of the CDs.
Yeah. Put a blanket over that sheet cake.
Yeah.
Put your underwear on your head. Something. Whatever you got.
My favorite crimes were the ones committed right in front of the Starbucks lady. You know, like I'll have the large or whatever, and then you put the newspaper over it, and I would get CDs that I would. Back when I was ambitious, I would try to sell merch after the shows at the Funny Bone or wherever, and I would go to the Starbucks, and they didn't have cameras back in the day, and then I would just procure like whatever they had on display there, and then sell them after the show. Like I have CDs available. They're songs that inspired Willie Nelson. But you could get them. You could just take them right in plain view with a newspaper over the top. But
with every purchase, you get an espresso bean.
Right. I was against that corporation way before it was popular. I was taking them down a notch.
Erickson, it looks like your video's freezing up every once in a while.
Yeah.
I think he was just holding real still.
It's we'll have to, hopefully it'll be fine, but it's raining in Los Angeles, so you know that the city is at a standstill and nothing can happen, so I think it'll be all right.
Raining here as well.
That's just Maria.
Yeah, We got fog here, and our Wi-Fi still cutting through the fog.
Is that your fault?
Let me ask you this: Do you think that we should that I should stop recording, and Shaylee, have you start recording?
We can do that.
Because then I have a really easy way to get it from you afterwards. Because I just got another thing that popped up that said switch to audio only.
Wait, did you say easier or faster? Because faster was a carrier pigeon than the last one I tried to do.
No, yeah, I know. This way will be faster and easier.
All right, let's do that. Wait till Andy's
So let me do that. I'm gonna. I'll still have the first. Yeah, I'll still have
this like
10 minutes, and then I can just have Todd.
Is this like the impeachment hearing? We get a little recess.
No. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, Erickson. Yeah.
Only one person can record the call.
Yeah.
So.
I'm on a burner phone.
You're on a burner life.
Yeah, I'm on a burner.
Hey, I turned subtitles on.
Slow burner.
There's subtitles on this thing. How do they know what we're gonna say?
I want to turn subtitles on. How does that work?
It's over in the
Turning,
right
there
hand.
it is.
It's not doing anything though. Oh, there it
is. It's showing it on me.
I don't know how to. You guys are light years ahead of me here.
Yeah,
Andy, don't try it.
Don't touch anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got names. Names
turning that off.
I haven't had any technical problems for quite a while. I think that bus crash sort of straightened out my energy.
So Shaylee, do you still have subtitles on?
No, I turned them off because I don't want to fuck things up.
Well, yeah, because it'll be on the recording.
Well, I mean, we're saying it. We can see it.
Yeah, I know, but it
was just an experiment.
So I do have one thing to tell you guys about Thanksgiving. I hope you all didn't celebrate or celebrated in your own way. My plan was before comedian Olivia Grace left town, the plan was for her to be here, and then I was going to cook a turkey and just do just such dietary restrictions. It was going to be just a turkey and mashed potatoes because she can eat those things. And I like the last two Thanksgivings, I really haven't eaten any meat. But I'm like, oh man, I'm cooking this turkey the way I want to cook it. I deboned an entire turkey and then rolled up the stuffing in it. And then I got a call from Olivia saying, I'm not going to be there. I'll see you in Vegas on the 29th.
Oh,
so and Tracy's total vegan now. She doesn't eat meat. And now I'm starting to feel that thing where like, oh, should I sneak away to eat this in front of her? Eat it in front of her? Or is it more polite for me not to eat this animal carcass in front of her? Right. So I ate it in front of her, but I just yesterday finished 13-pound bird. Ate it all myself.
I
ate the whole fucking thing.
Holy
You're going to go off the fucking wagon for fucking eating meat. That's the way to do it. Eat fucking a whole bird.
Every time I drive down the hill now, I'm going to think Shaylee ate one of you motherfuckers.
But I filleted it up like a serial killer, cutting off body parts. I mean, I completely just took everything, like even I had fucking like needle nose pulling out the tendons so you don't bite down into the.
Did you jerk off on its head?
Were you wearing its feathers?
It was one of those.
Andy still thinks they have heads when you cook them.
Well, I was just thinking, what would Jeffrey Dahmer do with a holiday?
You only jerk off on the heads of the live ones, Andy.
Yeah.
Do you think Jeffrey Dahmer decorated the place for the holidays?
Tinsel brightens up everything.
Well, he was a photographer.
So basically it was Tracy and I downstairs at our place, and people came up here for football, and I had this bird that I knew I was going to cook, and I didn't really know how long I was going to cook it because they didn't the YouTube video didn't show that. So, and it's different without the bones, without that big cavity, and it was real tight. It actually looked like a maggot because I tied it up with butcher's twine, and it looked like just a solid like pupa. It looked pretty disgusting, especially the fact that I was going to eat that whole thing.
Nice.
But then I
Sounds
decided
delicious.
at 10 in the morning to drink a bottle of sake and drop some mushrooms with Tracy because we were just going to be down there cooking and everything. But it took so long to cook the bird that I was peaking and starving. So I came up to the fun house and started like commenting on things around a bunch of other people who weren't on mushrooms.
You must shit like a tiger.
If I would have saved it up, it would have come out the same way it went in.
What, wrapped in butcher's twine?
That's the trick. I eat the butcher's twine separately.
Yeah, you gotta
And it comes out
swallow
bowed
that.
up.
He shit so much like a tiger that Tracy put a giant cat box in the house. Shaylee has to shit in it now. He can't even go in the bathroom. Shit over there.
Well, Shaylee, I'm glad that you adopted the Carrie Mitchell modus operandi for dealing with a vegetarian in your household, because I have been more or less a vegetarian for almost 20 years, and Carrie Mitchell deals with that by staring directly into my eyes while she eats burgers and things, looking through me. So
I swear on the fourth day, I was like Tracy was like, "Hey, I'm going to Sierra Vista." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't feel like it." And then I'd like run right to the fridge, bust open some fucking dinner rolls, put some fucking vegan mayonnaise on the dinner rolls, and put the fucking turkey on there. And I'd eat them, and like it's like what am I doing here? This isn't normal. Just eat a fucking sandwich. But I did feel like it was that thing like when your folks catch you smoking cigarettes and they make you eat a couple.
Yeah,
I also felt like I killed this bird. I'm not throwing it away. I'm not giving it to the dog.
That's
you ate it like an Indian.
You know?
Yes.
That bird's whole life was made for you.
No.
Turned out.
You don't absorb the bird's essence if you don't eat all of it, Shaylee. All meat eaters know that.
Yeah.
So if
That
it rains,
whole
I shouldn't
bird's
go
life,
outside because I might look up.
Yeah. As long as it didn't die for nothing.
I got double lucky on Thanksgiving. I think I told you guys last time we were here. It started storming real bad just around Thanksgiving here, and like
For
real
24
bad.
hours.
Yeah, like real bad, to the point where we said, yeah, we're not going to drive anywhere, go anywhere for Thanksgiving. But then I got a bonus on top of that. My road to get to my house, Shaylee's been here. You have to drive through that little dip in the dirt road.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually a creek and became almost a river. So not only could I got to be all alone at my house with Jenny for Thanksgiving, nobody could come to my house even if they fucking wanted to. And it was just a really great feeling, like instead of like somebody might just stop by to be polite and say hi. And then it was like, fuck, they're stuck.
Nope.
Fuck those motherfuckers.
If that happens here, I'm going into the river. If I get stranded up on the hill here, I'm head first in. I'm like, I'll get some help.
They had over by Globe where I grew up, they flooded around the same time, and like a
That's
family.
up near Phoenix, right?
Kind of. The actual area where this story happened was called Tonto Basin, and it's just a little fucking tiny area.
Whoa. You can't say that.
What's that?
Tonto Basin?
That's what it's called, Tonto Basin. It's right next to the Tonto National Monument.
Oh, you said it again.
That's a legal thing to say.
Yeah, you can also lock brown
Erickson will
people up
edit
in
it out.
cages now, so it's cool. We've come a long ways.
So,
Ow!
a family that was visiting for Thanksgiving had like a military style truck, and they decided to take all their kids and drive across the flooded out wash, and it fucking washed them all down, and they rescued most everybody. The parents who could swim saved themselves, obviously, but like 2 5-year-olds and a 6-year-old got washed down. They haven't even found the 6-year-old yet. I just thought I'd lighten up the mood by telling you guys this creek wash story. That
well, Man,
Good
yeah, my
times.
Thanksgiving wasn't quite that eventful, but Larry, I did. It wasn't all five of my brothers. Two of them, I guess, either weren't invited or whatever. But Larry, and me and Dave got together with a collection of other people, and Larry showed up in a cold sweat with a look of terror in his eyes, and he sat down, and he wasn't scared of, he didn't. That's just he's got a natural terror face now, and he was sweating, and I did try. Brett said get some footage of Larry, and then I sat down next to Larry, and then I go, "Hey Larry, how's it going?" And I started taping him, and then he just started confessing to crimes. God damn it, man! Like one after another. It was like he told me his whole system and everything, and it's like I don't want to hear this shit, Larry. America doesn't want to hear this shit either. But and my brother David's a musician and has a little studio in back, and it was like a few musicians there, like this group that used to play together like 30 years ago, before one of them became an alcoholic. And well, fucking just he's not that there's anything wrong with that, but he's like he brought a 12 string and a keyboard that was really fucking out of tune and shit. But they made music, and my brother Larry, who's not much of a musician, except he can sing the blues if you want to listen to him. You know, I mean, not a singer, but he'll tell you about bitches that fucked him over in the jail system.
So he tells a story while someone plays an instrument.
Right, but Larry was on the bongos with the cold sweats, and David was drumming, and I do have footage of that where Larry's not confessing to crimes. He's just missing. But there is no, like they said, the keyboard's out of tune, and when Kip gets on the 12 string, he brought the guitarist was really fucking hammered and high and shit, which you get as a musician. I understand. They hadn't played together in a while. And he just seemed to wake up with a flash every once in a while and start hammering that 12 string. And the keyboardist was, you know, it sounded like a fucking 70s band that didn't quite understand how the shit works. And then
that's every band.
Right. And then, yeah.
Until they learn how to play.
To watch Larry play bongos to the song Guilty. The lady that was a singer, she popped out. The one song she sang is that old blues. It's not a Blues Brothers song, but that song Guilty, Blues Brothers covered. And I watched
probably a Sam and Dave
song. Sam and Dave, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I got to watch Larry bang the bongos while a chick that missed a lot of notes in favor of much higher notes. Maybe a little. I didn't get. I don't know if I was in on the cool drugs at that party. Some of them came in.
It doesn't sound like it. No.
Yeah. Like,
Also, if you're gonna share either of this footage with it, I'm voting for Larry confessing crimes at this point.
To a song called "Guilty."
Yeah.
What?
Mash up. Yeah, mash it
Yeah.
up.
Well, it's a current running operation, and I don't want to throw any shade on that.
That story reminds me of a song. Here it goes.
You go do something like this.
Hey, I'll go.
I can't even do any notes on it.
How do you bring a keyboard that's out of tune? Did they wheel in an upright honky tonk piano? What
it was
keyboard
just.
do you plug in that's out of tune?
Yeah, this one guy Kip that brought the 12 string who kept apologizing profusely for fucking up everything. And he goes, I shouldn't have brought a 12 string, is what he said over and over.
No, a 12 string, it doesn't say, hey, I'll bring this guitar just in case we play. A 12 string says, I'm playing tonight.
Right.
You don't bring a 12 string to just let it sit in the car.
Yeah, it's like that guy, the Cheap Trick guitarist or something. It was like
Rick Nielsen.
Yeah, and Kip's a great guitarist and everything, but he was just, it was an overwhelming experience to sit in there and watch the whole thing, and then to see. I started the whole thing off on the drums, and I wasn't horrified. There was a lot of shatter to be smoked out there, and when I sat down and was banging on the drums with the keyboardist, it was pretty good for a minute.
Said good everyone who was playing.
Well, it's just me and the keyboardist, and he didn't say that sucked, so felt right. I was making music.
Oh, I said he played good enough that they replaced him for the real gig, it sounds like.
Yeah. It's like when I acted with Stephen Buscemi in Portlandia. It wasn't great acting on my end, but I still could say I played music with him or whatever.
And now you look like him.
Buscemi's not going, hey, that guy blew actual hash vaporizer on my face is a good actor.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, so I had a couple of fistfuls of tuna, did a couple of pills and went to bed early, but it was an Andrus family Thanksgiving. There was like 7 Deweys between us or whatever. It was like, I think Dave's had 2, Larry must have had at least a couple, and then the nephews. So a lot of court time there.
Play Story Topper with your Dewey stories.
Andy just sits back and listens. I can't.
Well, yeah, one of my nephews hit a fucking guardrail about 2 blocks from the police station, and then denied he was driving the car. So it's it's like,
was he the only one in the car?
And ran, you only hope the next generation does a little bit better.
That actually seems like a pretty solid plan if you're that close to the police station, where you just jump out of open the passenger door and the driver's door and just start yelling at, get back here! What are you doing? Just start screaming into the night like somebody left you there. That's a good fucking move.
Well, it was in Coos Bay, Oregon, and what he did wrong is he should have said, I was abducted by a black guy. He just took off running.
With no footprints anywhere around. Just start
shooting into the darkness.
I think I winged him.
He was wearing a hoodie and running like a motherfucker.
And an Under Armour do-rag.
Yeah, this is what they found at the crime scene, is this do-rag. Because brothers know when they're running in the darkness, get rid of the white do-rag. That's just common sense.
Mm-hmm.
I have a good story, but I think I'm gonna save it for my other podcast to tell. I don't know.
No.
I'm torn between.
No, that's all right. Save it.
Tell my stories on.
Is that a song, like torn between 2 podcasts?
the only person in podcast fucking history who's torn between two podcasts. I don't know that. People probably have two podcasts of their own.
No. There's
Everybody in this town has at least 2 podcasts.
And they're guests on 4 more.
Yeah.
This is my 3rd one of the day.
His other 2 were with his squirrel buddies.
He wears some different colored underwear on a tent.
I guested on Mama Squirrel's podcast, Gathering Nuts.
It's called Between Two Nuts.
Nuts and Dabs.
All of those actually sound like good podcasts.
Yeah.
We're all nuts here.
I talked to
pound a couple of beers while the wife's off at cult studies is good on me.
are you drinking, Andy?
Oh, I'm drinking. Yeah, whenever I'm like Ralphie May when he got the gastric bypass. He would still eat a lot of food, but he would just eat it incrementally. You know, like he'd have a fucking burrito and it'd take him, instead of 5 seconds, it would take him like 50 seconds.
That's called 3 meals a day.
Yeah.
Well, Ralphie,
That's what
so
normal people do.
So I'm not really drinking, but I'm maintaining medically this fucking situation. I'm drinking to the very limit of what I can drink health wise.
I got another question, Andy. Does
Perfect.
the squirrel let you smoke inside?
The squirrel?
Yeah.
The squirrel don't care about shit except for if I put nuts out and that.
Oh,
the
you
wife-
misunderstood what I was saying.
Oh,
Yeah.
the wife?
Yeah. It was a
Well,
joke.
I smoked, and then I mean, Chad recognizes it from how well I maintain my smoke in Vegas. So I light the bong and then I walk it to the deck, and then I blow the smoke out there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Except in
Potpourri
Vegas.
and you know, and then she's coming back from a cult, so I mean, she's not gonna right away go, oh, the house smells like weed, because it'll leave an opening to say, didn't you just learn about a fucking false god? You know, didn't you just spend 3 hours in a fucking indoctrination session? Yeah, I smoked a little weed because I live here on Earth, motherfucker.
To answer
I mean,
your
in
question,
general.
Shaylee,
Nobody in
it
particular.
definitely smells like weed inside that house, because when we're in Vegas, I set Andy up in the window and showed him, look, this window opens up. We can smoke weed right here and blow it out the window. And Andy's like, oh, fuck yeah, right on. And then proceeded to hit it in the window and then walk back into the room to exhale.
Yeah. The El Cortez.
Yes,
I was
yes.
afraid that we were going to get dinged on that one
Oh, not only
because
that,
it was
remember,
set up
he-
so perfectly, and yet
he also cleaned his pipe while taking the final shower
and it
in the shower, so
Resin.
there was just resin all over the bottom of the tub. I was like, Andy, we made it all the way to the last fucking minute, dude.
I still have some of that in my pubic hair.
I'm surprised you didn't smoke it while you're in Florida. Fuck it, I'll trim this out and smoke it.
Yeah, I almost don't care anymore.
Almost. You're getting there.
Oh shit.
I think we
There we
definition.
go. See if you can make it to the window.
Is he gonna even try?
Blow in that can and then reseal it.
Blow it into your shirt. It'll be fine.
What's that thing? People have sent them to Stanhope. I have a couple of them. I only have one of them now, but it's a fucking no smoke. It's a little canister that you blow smoke into when you don't want your house to smell like weed.
Yeah,
Really?
that was.
I have that
was,
here.
That was based on the design. Tracy told me that when they used to smoke pot at a house, and they would blow through a toilet paper tube with a dryer sheet inside of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And it
I
just makes it smell like sickly sweet pot.
And the pot still comes out the sides of it, and then your bowl just still sits there smoldering, and the fucking smoke that puffs out before you even inhale it is still all in the air. So it's really a fucking moot point. But I did it whenever there were children around because I'm responsible.
Yeah.
One time I had this is years ago, and I had a greenhouse, and I didn't grow weed, but it was my kid had a birthday party, and it was a Halloween theme, and we had a haunted house, and in the greenhouse, and they would go through it, but I'd left a pipe, and it was smoldering, so the kids were going through it, and it was. I was like, I noticed it when I was like, there was a fog machine and all that other shit, but it was also a very pungent haunted house. And then in an unrelated incident, some kid hovering over a candle caught fire. Had nothing to do with adult.
Why is a kid hovering
at all?
Why is there fire in a haunted house?
Well,
Terror.
yeah, that
That's
was
terror.
not my department. There was a candle, and some kid put her leaned over it, and her it was basically her how those Halloween costumes are not. They don't come. They're not like just because they might be a fireman doesn't mean they're fire safe. And this kid was a witch, and her costume just singed up and burnt. There was no damage to her or whatever. I went from a vampire. I had footage of it. I went from a vampire to a douchebag worried about being sued almost immediately.
Oh.
Get rid of that camera.
I thought for sure you were going to claim. I thought for sure you were going to claim to be a first responder again.
That's what I thought.
I'm a hero.
I know CPR.
Yeah.
He zigged for sure.
Not all heroes wear capes. Some of them wake up.
Also, he said he got rid of the camera, where I thought he would get rid of the girl. So I mean, you never know exactly which way you're going to go.
I got her
crimes.
I got her to shut the fuck up about catching fire. Let's change the narrative. I went all Republican on her and was like, let's get our talking points down. Your costume singed. It didn't catch fire.
Yeah. There's no quid pro quo here.
Yeah. Hey, that wasn't that wasn't marijuana. That was an actual skunk in the greenhouse. There's a mother too that walked through that haunted house and then kept the gift that my daughter had a gift from my kid in her hand. She was a little bit drunk, but she walked through the haunted house and then didn't give my kid the gift, which my kid noticed. Well, I don't know, man. You try to do your best for your kids, but sometimes you leave your pipe smoldering and people make judgments. That's back then when it was prohibited.
What, burning a kid is legal now?
Burning a kid, yeah,
She started herself on fire. I just provided a way to do it.
He just trapped her inside of a greenhouse.
But I'll tell you what, if you're going to set up a haunted house, having some kid's costume on fire and her waving her arm around, definitely, lends to that. Woo!
Andy, I had a similar story happen, except it wasn't a holiday. It was just every day was a holiday because I was the parent that, like, when my kids were like later in high school, them and all their friends came and smoked weed at my house, and my kids bought a travel trailer when they were in high school and parked it out in the backyard, and all their friends. I was like the party spot where all their friends, and I thought it was all right. Yeah, I was a little clubhouse out there, and I didn't mind it because then at least they were close to home. I didn't have to go fucking look for them when shit went bad. But it was like some sort of prom night or something, and my son's date and her friend came over, and they brought booze, and they were already all they clearly couldn't handle their booze. Like, I didn't care, but they were like, you motherfuckers are fucking hammered, and I'm like, I don't want parents fucking coming over here talking to me because I don't deal well with people, so you need to straighten this shit out. I was telling my son, keep them under control, and I was already annoyed with it, but at one point she was obnoxious and she tried to fucking do a bong hit and leaned down, and she had her hair in this giant bouffant for like prom with tons of hairspray in it. And she leaned over to light the bong. Woof! Her fucking hair just went up. My son, it was his date. He put it out by beating the fuck out of her head, of course, because how else do you put it out? And I just left. I couldn't even. I was like, I'm not gonna worry anymore about what else happens, but I cannot fucking fall on the floor laughing hysterically at what just happened. They can deal with it however they want, and if her dad comes here wondering why his daughter's drunk with all her fucking hair burned off, I will deal with that. But I cannot laugh in front of all this fucking kids. And I left immediately.
There was in Coquille we had I wasn't a member of the Key Club for long, but like my senior year, I got into the
They
Key
did change
Club.
some rules after he was
You
kicked
know
out.
what?
Well,
You know what I love? What I love is that the way we do this video, this vodcast, when we put it out, is we always take a chunk from the middle, like a little bit of a highlight, and we put it at the very beginning so that you can see what you're going to see later in the show if you watch it, a teaser. And that's really, truly, I've just realized that's the way Andy tells stories. He gives you a little teaser at the beginning. I wasn't in the Key Club for long. It's like, all right, I'm invested. Let's hear this.
all right, it was an offshoot of the Kiwanis, and it was a Key Club. It was the high school version of the Kiwanis. And
wait, did
I
you
heard
join
they
it
always
because
got.
you thought it was the Key Bump Club?
No, I didn't even do bumps back then. I'd done a.
Come on, man. You can't put bump in the thing. You got to go Key Club. Everyone knows it's Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, it was. I don't know how they come up with that term, but it had nothing to do with bumps, or I would have joined my freshman year. Believe me, I would have been looking. I was looking for that kind of an organization, but this one just seemed to be a bunch of.
I'm a dealer.
My face is so numb, and I'm only a member. Can you imagine if I was the leader? But so anyway, everybody joined this organization, and I didn't, because I didn't see anything cool about it. And they will always go on this one trip to Diamond Lake, and I never got to go. And I joined my senior year. My friend Mitch was in it, and they didn't go to. I've never been to Diamond Lake to this day. Still to this day. But that year, Key Club was run by a guy who later became known as the South Coast Rapist. But he ran what you would call was a loose ship. In the main thing I remember about Key Club is we sold Christmas trees. It was a fundraiser to go to Key Club, but some shit went on, and I think probably the South Coast Rapist shit was a bit later. But I don't know why I didn't go to Diamond Lake. But anyway, I did the fundraiser, which was me and Mitch were in particular at this trailer, and people would come and they would buy their Christmas trees. And we had our own thing where we were just pocketing money hand over fist, but we would go, because we'd bring our own trees. We'd bring trees to throw off the numbers. And we had, because we bring 3 or 4 trees, and that's a lot of money. No. I committed treason way before other people committed treason.
Podcast is over.
I don't want to drop the mic or it'll be all fucked up.
I feel like I'm going to start that
story just so you can say that, you son of a bitch.
I did not, but we sold trees.
Singing the song "Guilty."
We sold trees in season. But we brought our own trees, and I don't even know if we needed to do that because the guy who was the Key Club advisor, again, was later known as the South Coast Rapist. So I don't know if he was doing numbers on the trees anyway, but we thought we were clever as fuck for cutting down trees, probably in people's lawns and more than likely in the Flex lawn. In fact, I know for a fact we took down a nice noble fir from the anyway. We did what we did.
That's a Christmas tree.
Half of us aren't even alive. Half of us are gone. So, but we sold them, and then we would tell people, and we were pretty good tree salesmen because we'd say, "Well, how much of the tree do you want?" So,
just the tip.
Yeah, we'd say it's by foot, but if you wanted a 7-foot tree, or if you saw a 5-foot tree within a 7-foot tree, we were cool with that. We just wanted to move merch.
Because you stole the chainsaw as well?
Yeah.
Well, no, we handsawed what we cut. We were stealing it. We're not stealing. We were cutting at night. We were harvesting at night because we didn't want the folks to be alerted.
Not stealing. The folks whose property it was that you were not stealing trees from.
I don't know. I mean, it depends on if nobody cared about, probably In today's day and age, yeah, that's stealing, knocking down somebody's tree, yo. Don't do that.
Can we just go back real quick to something that I feel like we've glossed over a couple of times?
Oh, yeah.
And I've mentioned this before. Like, in this town, there's like a lot of like childhood fucking specific cancers in this town where we live. And like, there's been studies done to be like, why is fucking there's so many child cancers in this town? I really feel like there's a lot of rapists where you come from, Andy. Why did this guy the coast?
He was after he was the Key Club advisor, he was a local athlete in Coquille, and then he went on to, I think I don't know his whole story, how it all fell in, but he was stalking women at the community college. So I feel like if he would have made it to the university level, he probably could have done better. But he got busted at SWAC Community College for raping women, and he was our Key Club advisor. So whatever he had to say was probably not good. But I think it allowed for a loose atmosphere where
Chad,
people could do drugs and sell Christmas trees.
I think I've got it possibly figured out. You're wondering why there are so many rapists in Coquille. If the South Coast rapist is one of your advisors, I feel like there's a lot of pro-rape messaging going on that maybe seeps into the psyche of the town, and pretty soon everyone's like, let's just be raping.
Well,
I was already
know about
thinking
that, but I know. I mean, I guess what I've learned as an adult that our town was very swinger friendly.
Well,
that's what he
already
called it.
Thinking that as the fucking advisor of the Key Club, he probably wasn't all into that type of work or that job. He probably just liked the access it gave him to fucking rape people.
Well,
is what I'm thinking.
Look at what's going on. Look what's going on. I mean, the most sociable, the elites, as they call themselves, or the other people call them the elites, but we know them to be the elites. What do the elites do? Is they all fucking want to have sex with kids, you know? So it's like the top levels of people are fucking kid fuckers. So
I've thought about that, like politics and Hollywood. It seems to be rampant all over. I feel left out. Like I'm like, what am I missing if all of these people are into this? I'm not. That's weird. But it seems
all
to be
I know is if
popular.
I could clone myself as a boy, if I could make 15 copies of myself, I would sell them to the elites. I'd get the teeth fixed first.
I think that's a selling point. That's like David Letterman's Gap. It's like that's a selling point. It's cute.
I would do a couple of them with the gaps to see what the money was, and then the ones that didn't work out, I would spray with Roundup.
Oh, that's the long con.
Yeah, the long con is spraying with Roundup
later,
and then lots of pictures of them in their diapers in the green lawn or whatever, and then I just spray them down, and then the non-Hodgkin's lymphomas or whatever.
I love that somewhere in Andy's head is saying, I didn't get my car out of the first deal, and I definitely, knowing what I know now, I could have been way more lucrative than just a car. I could have fucking molded a whole career out of this fucking gig.
I know the guy he filmed me, and then I didn't jerk off or nothing because I've never been good on camera. Like I wasn't killing it as a child jerk off.
There's someone who would dispute that. There's at least one person
Macaulay
who would dispute
Culkin
that,
of
Andy.
jerking off on camera or whatever. I was just trying to get my gig money, and I didn't even. It was, I guess, what I did do good is I tried to ignore the camera was even there.
Pretend your audience is in their underwear.
Oh, wait, reality show is act like the camera's not there. And I either stared through it or whatever, and I just envisioned getting the money and getting home and school clothes or whatever.
Hey, perhaps we've discovered why Andy's really bad about collecting money at the end of his comedy gigs.
Yeah. Sometimes instead of collecting money, I'm crying in the alley.
It's a muscle memory. If I go in there, this is not going to end good.
Yeah.
I'll just go home.
That's why I want to beat that guy's ass with his foot. And I guess I can say this now. I mean, And I said when I was in Florida, if you don't know the backstory, it's too complicated. But I did. A cop asked me if I was going to go after the guy, and I said no, I wouldn't do that, officers, because I'm stupid. It was just one cop, but I said officer. But I would, if I gave him a chance, I would beat that guy with his walking brace to death, because of all the hurdles it puts in life of just stupid little things like you were talking about, or just.
Well, you're not saying you do that. You're saying that might be what someone would think you would do, because you wouldn't want to threaten anyone on video.
Yeah, exactly. Like the cop, like the cop in Florida said. I didn't know what was going to happen. I thought you might go after him, and I said no, I wouldn't do that, officers.
And that's the story, and that's the end of it.
End of story. Full stop.
Yeah, it's a good thing for you, Andy, because you wouldn't want to get in trouble for doing something
like
that. We'll follow the normal mechanizations of the system.
I think that's maybe our new tool is when Andy starts getting into a gray area, we all just start talking about whatever. Just read the fucking dictionary while Andy's talking until he stops. And then we know that the coast is clear.
It's a hypothetical because he doesn't have hand braces anymore. He has a cane.
Andy.
I'm not saying I would cane him, but it's a lot like my brother Larry.
Andy.
Not in.
Andy, you know we're recording this, right?
You know that. No, I'm saying.
I like that Andy's microphone dimmed during all of that. Like somehow mysteriously just went down.
Yeah. Yeah. Even God's trying to stop him from
guys, did you know Key Club was an internationally founded organization from 1925, and it's a service program for high schools. Andy, you can keep confessing right now while I do this.
I'm doing the what's the douchebag Erickson Jordan?
It's a organization.
The Ohio State guy, Jordan.
Leadership
Gonna do the
through servicing others.
What is this? What is crime? What is a crime? Crimes are not crimes. Hey, man, if you want to jerk off in front of some wrestler, come on, man. Let's go.
Everybody knows that all confessions made on podcasts are hyperbole.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, hypothetically, if I were a superhero, I would have, anyway. But that, yeah. Anyway, the point is
pull up another Wikipedia page.
They place these things in your head or whatever it does, and then, like you're saying, when you get paid or whatever, I'm not very good with money. I never have been, because I used to get sent off to get school clothes and get molested and get paid $100. It was very awkward because I had to get kind of jerked off to get the 100. So it really is like comedy, but I didn't embrace it.
How do you kind of get jerked off?
Well, you thumbs.
I've done
it. You
got to try real hard, it sounds like.
Yeah. Yeah. You just, I mean, the bottom line is if somebody is going to pay you for the gig and then they keep going, oh, you got to do this or whatever. And it's like, man, I thought I already did the gig or whatever. And then they're like, no, you still have to do this to get paid or whatever. And you're like, fuck, man, or whatever. But I didn't go, man, like now I'd say, hey, kid, sign a release or whatever, or, get some, get your own copy of the films or whatever.
What? No, that's not good advice. That's the wrong advice, man.
Because now I can sell them.
You understand that? That's not good advice.
When you find yourself Lindsey Graham, hey man, Lindsey, here's a kid getting jerked off.
That is true.
And then get
Andy
money
would be
Lindsey
the first
Graham
one selling his own.
I got you.
Yeah. You sell your own fuking child porn videos, Andy. That wouldn't be illegal, would it?
The conversation I had with Stanhope is like, if you could clone yourself, and then and then you could get yourself. Anyway, it was like but the idea was if I could get my own films. It was okay. It started with the cloning. If I could clone myself and then get that kid raped, but anyway, it went on. And then I go, wait, and Doug goes, you got films of you getting jerked off on camera? I go, yeah, I do, or whatever. And he goes, well, and then what the thought was, well, if I own those films, could I put them on the internet as the adult victim in the video and go $17 to watch a kid get jerked off by an adult?
Whoa.
Yeah.
I was with you until
Andy,
you put a monetary value on it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Eddie. I think you're
$17.
lowballing it. I think you're lowballing it at $17. You don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
I know, but in
You're
today's
horrible
market,
at
probably
business.
24. This was a while
Andy,
back. This was
What you're
during the
talking
man
about
stuff.
doing is groundbreaking because you can market it publicly rather than privately, like all these other perverts have to market their stuff. It's you, so you couldn't
Yeah,
get in
so-
trouble for it. So you
And
could
then,
market it
and
publicly.
then I would do
I
like the
think
Chris
it's a
Hansen
genius
thing at the
idea.
end. If you enjoyed this, or like any of the porn sites where you're like, if you enjoy this, I'm an adult now. This is me. If you enjoy this now, well, part 2 is $17.50 as well.
Check
Available-
my webcam.
available-
Hey, I hate to be no and on this.
Forgot about the upsell, Andy. I don't know about that part.
Andy, Jesus
Oh.
Christ.
But Steve went and when I confronted him about the molestation, he went and raised home because I felt like he still had them videos. Like
think he's
Dexter still has
destroyed
his
them?
little things in the rate, I felt like he still had those.
His
and then he
vials of
left.
blood.
Yeah, I think he was very clumsy. Like, he never really got to the really, I mean, maybe I was early on or whatever, but he wasn't very good at it. So maybe I was the Heisman Trophy in his case or whatever.
Oh.
Maybe
What-
I was.
Well,
If you
I,
think-
I think
if
all
you
victims
think
like to
those
think of
things-
themselves as the Heisman Trophy in the case.
Well, and if he had, I know that's a weird dynamic because I met another person who said he was molested by the same person, and I was kind of jelly. It's like, really? Whoa! Oh, I thought he.
But he said he was the Cy Young.
Yeah, he won this 3-year Cy Young Award winner, and his brother too. His brother also. So it's like, wow, this guy just cheated on me right and left. I was trying to find my way, and he was dating other people.
If you think those tapes still exist, it's a good thing you don't know people who used to beat people with canes for a living and would now do it just because they're your friend,
Right,
and
well-
possibly discover those tapes and be willing to go in with you on this lucrative business deal. It's a good thing you don't know that guy.
Yeah.
Hey, Erickson, Key Club
exactly.
International was
Yeah.
founded in 1925. An international.
According to my
Dad, what are you doing?
according to my book here, hey Shaley, according to my book here, the
Anyway-
aardvark is
anyway-
an animal that is indigenous
Anyway,
to
Steve-
the.
Steve, as he goes by now, when I got molested, his name wasn't as cool as Steve. So I say now that I was molested by Steve is an upgrade.
Sounds better.
Yeah, it's like being molested by Gary. It's like, well, really, Gary? No, Steve, or Dave or Bill.
Oh, you need a sexy name, Andy?
Well, I
Is that
don't know
what
why
you're
it's
saying?
just named like several family members. I'm just
I think we
ripping
made a
names of
breakthrough in our
molesters.
session today, Mr. Andrews.
Well, it's
Well, they know, at least you know they won't sue you because they know what you don't have.
Yeah. I know there's not enough beers in the house for podcast days.
Never is.
Oh shit!
Hey, this eraser's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I moved my Bloody Marys to a giant glass where I use fucking twice as much. I'm a half a bottle of vodka in on 2 fucking Bloody Marys, so I'm enjoying it.
I got shit to do. We're getting ready to go away for an extended trip, and it's like every day that I mean it's just there's so much stuff to do because we're still getting we still haven't been signed off on the new construction and we're getting stuff done, and now they're painting everything, and they're painting the sidewalks here. Doug's got all these crazy colors, and the Mexican guys that are doing it, they're into their job. They're really good at it. But their job isn't to watch Henry Phillips the dog. So I come back from being gone for a while, and Henry Phillips is down in the sequestered area where she's not supposed to be. And I look, and all the artificial turf that I put in has little purple paw prints.
Oh, she's been walking
All
through the
over
pain.
And she's running around like, how do I get out of here? I don't want to be down here. There's like sticky stuff everywhere. So I pull her up and I go, oh my God, no. And I pull up her fucking back paw. All her paws are not only purple but solid purple, like she stood in it for a while, to where there was no pad left. It was all just a layer of purple. So yeah, we got a lot of
Nice.
trying to get out of here in time. Chad, honestly, by the time Doug gets back from Bachelor Island or wherever he's at filming,
I think it was in
Survivor.
I think it was mentioned in a train song.
Yeah.
By the
Yeah,
time he
train
gets
there.
back,
I'm sure I don't know that reference, and I'm glad.
We're already gonna be gone, so we can't do the other podcast until we get to Vegas.
Oh, okay.
So spill your
Just so you know.
story, Tank.
So tell my story.
Yeah.
No,
because-
I'm not telling
No,
you that.
save
But
it.
I'm saying that,
No, Andy said that.
I'm
that
saying
this weekend, I thought Doug was gonna be back sooner, but
Yeah.
he's
Well,
staying.
when I talked to him the other day, which is part of my story, he told me, he goes, "You and Chaley are gonna have to do the podcast without me." I was like, I don't know about that. That's
We've tried that twice, remember?
He told me, because I
Oh, I
know
remember.
I know what you're gonna say, and he's
You
like,
can't go to
"But you-"
McDonald's and them give you Burger King burger and go, it's the same thing.
Yeah,
It's false advertising.
Yeah. The Doug Stanhope minus Doug Stanhope podcast is not fucking
Turns out not
what's
so
on
Doug
the
Stanhope.
menu. So the other day, I get a phone call in the evening from a drunken Doug Stanhope. Because I'm gonna tell my story now, since I can't talk on the podcast.
Hold on,
It's
Chad,
so-
wait 1 second. 1 second.
What?
I'm going to tell you that leading up until the Monday before Thanksgiving, Doug was going to be here for Thanksgiving. That was the whole thing. And then there was a prediction of rain. And then there was an update that it was going to be not only rain, but it's going to be rain for multiple days. And then the wind started. So on Tuesday and Thanksgiving on Thursday, Tuesday, it already started blowing. It was getting crazy, right? So all of a sudden, he just fucking split. So and that's the point of where your story comes in. Doug just left town. We had podcasts to do. We had all this stuff that we're gonna have. Someone was gonna help me eat a fucking 13-pound fucking maggot turkey. That didn't happen. So that then go to where you are. He's calling you from somewhere that he took off to.
So, I'm gonna say where the fuck he called and who he was with, because that's part of my story.
Absolutely.
Okay, so, Stanhope was here and took off unbeknownst to, except for Shaley. Everybody else that thought we had plans and stuff going for, like I said, podcast, I didn't know. Thanksgiving evening, I get a call from Stanhope, and he's drunk as fuck, and he says, "I'm here in the Bahamas." And I was like, "In the fucking Bahamas?" He goes, "Oh, you didn't know I went to the Bahamas?" And he's, "Yeah."
Why
I go,
would you
"No."
know?
I go, I didn't know you were going to the Bahamas. And then in comes on my phone, Johnny Depp going, "I didn't know either." Fucking however the fuck Johnny Depp talks. And I'm
That's
like,
a perfect
oh shit.
impression. That's like my Hennigan impression. It's dead on.
Stanhope's calling me from fucking Johnny Depp Island with Johnny Depp. This is fucking cool as shit. And they're just drunk dialing people. And so we had a fucking fun conversation until it just went completely awkward silence. And I go, "Well, I think that's it." And then they fucking agreed that was probably it. And it was really cool. I was like, there's a fucking story right there. I got fucking drunk dialed from fucking Johnny Depp Island for fucking Stanhope and Johnny Depp. Until the day after Thanksgiving, when my phone rings again late in the evening, and I answer
WhatsApp,
it.
by the way, WhatsApp, right?
So this was before WhatsApp. Yeah, this was just on my regular phone.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it's Stanhope again. So I'm like, answer the phone. He goes, "Hey," he says, this time he sets it up. The other time he didn't set it up so great, but this time he says, "Hey, when we were in California, we walked up to Johnny's house, but you didn't get to meet him, did you?" And I said, no, I didn't get to. I said he was otherwise occupied during that day, and we laughed about whatever was going on that day. And he goes, well, now you can meet him now. He says, and then Johnny Depp gets on the phone. He's like, hey, Chad, it's nice to meet you. And I said, well, hey, Johnny, it's nice to meet you, too. I said, it was also nice to meet you when you two drunk fuckers drunk-dialed me last night.
I imagine off camera, there's an assistant with the fucking flashcards, flipping down the cue cards. Like, Chad, nice to meet you.
Yeah, it was.
And then, like, a bunch of things like, how's Jenny?
Yeah, no, it was.
Like
it
Mr. Burns.
Stanhope was trying to look up pictures of me. The first, he's like, I'm trying to look up pictures of you to show Johnny. He goes, oh, no, well, I'm not. There's not going to be a bunch of pictures of me, Stanhope. Yeah, it just shows you when you worked at the newspaper. It doesn't even look like you. Yeah, that's.
Or you could go to your website, Doug, where we have tons of pictures of Chad.
But the other thing that was funny was that both times, like if you meet the first time you ever talk to Johnny Depp on your phone, you hope you don't sound like an asshole, and most of the time you probably do, and you're like, well, I wish I could fucking two things. He's never gonna remember any of that conversation. Eases my own fucking dumb mind down. And the second thing is that you don't get to do it again. You just get to do what you do, and then all of a sudden you get to do it again for the first time. So my first impression was so much better, I think, because I already had the practice of the previous night, except for both nights he brought up the same topic because of my ridiculous fucking persona that I created, like a Halloween fucking character that you don't ever get to drop. Is that, and I told him this too, is because he's like, you ever listen to Wheeler Walker Jr.? And I was like, I don't fucking like Wheeler Walker Jr., Johnny Depp. But then I had to, instead of being agreeable, I had to fucking defend my position as like, people send me wrestling clips that I don't watch too. It's this dumb persona. I don't want people to think that I like Trump, but I created it. I'm stuck with it. So I had to be.
Yeah, don't worry too much because I was at the house one weekend and Johnny's house, and Johnny was there, and some things happened where I would think, even in his life, this was a kind of a incident that happened that was kind of momentous, and he doesn't recollect meeting me at all. In fact, he stopped what we were doing to go get a fucking Armstrong Lucite guitar to do it off the back of the guitar, and he doesn't remember that. And we had conversations specifically about guitars as I'm walking through going, can you tell me what? Hey, I'll tell you what, this one right here is made from aircraft parts at the skull, the boneyard in there. And he's telling me all this stuff. And I'm like, oh man, I'm going to remember this forever. He doesn't remember it after he said it. And when Doug finally got down the long list of people he called before me, he called me, which I don't care. I'm
still waiting.
He called me, and all he did was tell Johnny about you during our conversation.
Oh shit!
I think Johnny knows me, but I don't know Johnny.
I know exactly what story you're referring to, Shaylee, and it's fucking hilarious. Cristiano told me, he's like, this is how unmemorable Shaylee is.
And he was saying that.
This thing that never fucking could be repeated ever in the world that only a few people took part in. I don't remember that.
It left you with a gritty taste and smoker's cough.
When remember Stanhope came out here a few years ago for his birthday, and we went to me and Doug and Bingo went to a Marilyn Manson concert.
Oh, Seattle. Was it Seattle?
No, I think it was in Portland.
Oh, the Crystal.
Yeah, and me and Doug were drinking earlier in the evening the night before, and anyway, we knew Marilyn or Brian was coming into town or whatever, and we were drunk. Doug doesn't even remember being at Dante's, and he got up on stage and did a whole thing.
Oh wow!
And we were that drunk, but I remember being like you know how you come out of a blackout drunk? I came out of a blackout drunk, and Marilyn Manson's manager and Doug were coming back into the room in a panic that they left me alone with Marilyn Manson. Like, oh shit, we left him with her, and what must be going on there, or whatever.
Who's the him? Who's the him in that?
Yeah.
We left him with.
Yeah, me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that,
One
I
of
don't
them
remember
might
meeting
fuck up
Marilyn
the other
Manson.
one, seriously.
Yeah, I don't remember the introduction, like, hey, this is Brian or Marilyn, and then Hank. But I just remember coming out of a blackout drunk, and people were in a panic that I was the one who might be bothering Marilyn Manson, as opposed to the other way around or something. You might hope it would be.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few stories. With
Sorry,
Marilyn
Demon
Manson.
Hell, I didn't mean to bother you with my drunken
Yeah.
bullshit.
I just think of the End of the World podcast when he showed up there and how crazy that was. Like there were
I had the
people,
same moment with him.
but there were people back.
He was
like he was
off stage.
behind the curtain at the Comedy Store,
Mm-hmm.
and there were people because his handler, which is a guy we know, I don't want to say his name, but that guy, he fucking super cool, ex-military, and he was getting calls from management going, do not let him on stage. Do not let him on stage, because they just released a video that had some fucking crazy shit with someone who looks like a.
Well, it wasn't even. It was the thing he was doing with beheading of Trump.
That's what I mean. There was
But they
something out
never
there.
even. But they never even put it out. They only. You know what? They only just recently put that out. It took like 3. Yeah, I just saw it.
I met Marilyn Manson.
I saw it 12 times that day.
I had to look it up. I met
Yeah, but
Marilyn
it never
Manson
it never got released to the world.
So
until
I met
just
Marilyn
recently.
Manson in '96 when he came up to Anchorage, and this was huge. This was when they broke out huge. They were flying to Japan, and that's the only reason they went to Alaska is because it was a hop over, and then they sent all their A gear to Japan. So they lost something, or they did. It was a scaled down show for Anchorage, which they didn't care. It was fucking great. But he was under such fucking scrutiny for everything that they put police out. They were going to put police out in front to enforce the curfew at 10 p.m. So anyone under 18 would be arrested. This is the environment that he was in. And he came into the radio station at like 6 a.m, because when he doesn't want to put the contacts in, he just wears wraparounds, right? And
Weirdo.
we do the show. It's great. It's on the morning show in Anchorage, right? He needed to fucking get tickets, right? Sold. That it was already a fucking thing, right? So then I got the host of the show goes, hey, can you do some drops? So we go back into a studio, him and I'm producing the morning show. And I go, hey, I got to ask you. Nicest guy, right? Got to ask you. This whole thing about cutting out ribs and like these things on the internet. And it was so smart what he said. He goes, I don't need to answer yes or no to anything because it lives on its own. It continues whether I answer or not. If I don't say anything, it's better than I say yes or no. But even if I said yes or no, it's like bullshit. There's no way. You totally got 2 ribs.
Right.
And he goes, that's this was 96, right? This was before social media like it is now. These were forums and people on Facebook and MySpace, right? And he was so cognizant.
20 years before End of the World podcast.
Yes. And I was driving him and his
that's crazy.
I was driving him and his go Andy. I was driving him and his manager back to the hotel. And I said, hey, what do you guys want? When I lived in Alaska, I would always take people out. I would do things, whatever they want to do. Hey, what do you guys want to do? The whole band's there, right? And they go, we want to go see. I go, Alaska Bush Company. We go to the glacier. What do you want to do? We'll go to the Wildlife Center. What do you want? Where's Donnie Brasco playing? The whole fucking band took up and all the roadies took up 2 rows at a little theater to go watch Donnie Brasco and to buy Zooropa by U2. That's all they wanted to do. No strippers,
Gross.
no stomping fucking puppies. Where do we get some bats? There's none of that.
Wanting the U2 album is the most disturbing story about Marilyn Manson I've heard yet.
Zooropa.
Of everything I've ever heard. Yuck. All right, gentlemen. I think that's a good place to stop. We've made it to U2. So let's get some in. If you guys are out there and you want to come see Andy Andrist and I perform comedy, we will be doing that at Winston's OB in San Diego and Ventura. I'm not sure where in Ventura on the 28th, but I actually do know. And I actually do know where, but I just don't know off the top of my head. Winston's on December 27th. It's a Friday night. Tickets are available on Eventbrite. I'll have the link. We'll put it in the description. And I should have the link for the 28th show in Ventura. I know where it is, but I just don't know off the top of my head. So Andy and I on the 27th in San Diego, on the 28th in Ventura, and then all of us will be in Vegas for Doug Stanhope's Plaza show on New Year's Eve, and we'll find some place to podcast.
Well, we're going to be doing a New Year's Day podcast because that's the Wednesday. Wednesday is the first day of 2020.
Let's do it right. So we'll be there. So come see Doug Stanhope on New Year's Eve if there are any tickets left, and we'll be wandering around drunk again.
Yep.
At least.
All right. Anybody else got anything to plug before we get out of here?
Hey, go to DougStanhope.com. Get on the mailing list. That's the best way because we're already setting up 2020. Doug's doing a ton of touring, and it looks like we've got Hawaii December 13th and 14th, Vegas on the 31st. That's an 8 p.m. show. You go in, get fucking hammered, and then go walk Fremont Street. It's going to be a blast, and all of us will be there for the show. We've already got March dates coming up, Seattle, Boston, Baltimore, and European dates are now stocking up. But you know what? Look, let's face it. No one listening to this show is going to a European date. But get on the mailing list. It doesn't hurt. Thanks for listening.
It's possible
you can always
Hold
on one more second. I want to say there are pictures of Doug and Johnny Depp on the island, and those were only forwarded to people on Patreon. So if you go to patreon.com/Stanhope Podcast, you were treated to those. So that's it. Thank you very much.
If you get on our Patreon, put pictures of me and the cardboard cutout of Sheryl Crow.
Does Andy have a microphone anymore? What's going on?
Shit,
what happened to Andy? Where did he go? Is he anywhere in the room?
All right, I'm.
All right.
I fucked it up. That's what I'm promoting.
Check me out on Twitch. Go to my easiest way to do it is go to my Twitter at HDFatty. My pin tweet tells you how to subscribe for free using your existing Amazon Prime subscription. I get real money for it. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. We just had my wife on for the first time recently. She's can race little cartoon characters with us and play poker with us now. Hoping to get Shaylee and Tracy.
We're gonna do it this week. I just been so busy, and honestly, I have no fucking time or patience for that thing. But it's all set up. We're ready to go. Honestly, it's Tracy. She's in some fucking dragon fairy thing that she's trying to navigate. But next time you guys are up, you guys, what days are you usually up on Twitch?
Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday.
All right, great.
So check that out. And, thanks for having me, guys. Cheers.
Yeah, hey everybody, like and subscribe, and we will see you next week. Adios.
Number 16. They never said we could do it.
16, sweet 16. That blue
it's number.
squirrel's nuts.
It's number 17, bitches.